I'm a lieutenant with the San Diego Police Department Homicide Unit.
Thank you, sir. Can you tell us what happened this afternoon?
Yeah, so today about 4:15 in the afternoon, La Mesa Police Department officers recognized a subject at 8000 University Avenue in the parking lot. They recognized that subject as being a wanted felon with a felony warrant in the system. Officers went to contact an individual. Upon contacting him, suspect ended up having a handgun. It's been confirmed it is a handgun at this point in our investigation. At some point in that interaction between the officer and the subject with the felony warrant, an officer-involved shooting occurred. During that shooting, we're still determining what rounds went where and doing ballistics testing. That's going to be something that's going to be working throughout the entire evening. But the suspect was shot, and he was ultimately killed and pronounced deceased at the scene. La Mesa PD, after the shooting, they immediately called for Heartland Fire to respond, provide first aid to the suspect, but unfortunately, like I said, the suspect died at the scene. At this point, per the county memorandum of understanding involved in how we investigate officer-involved shootings, the San Diego Police Department Homicide Unit is taking the lead investigation on this particular shooting. At this point, that is all the information we have at this time. No one else is hurt. The officer is not hurt. But that is where we're at this point in the investigation.
So there was a car hit by a bullet.
There was.
No one was hurt in that?
There was a passing vehicle on University Avenue that during this officer-involved shooting was struck with a round. That round impacted, appears to be a window. We have not processed that vehicle for evidence, but we do know that the person inside the vehicle, thankfully, was not hit by the round. But like I said, we are still investigating to determine the details of this particular shooting.
Was it a gunfight? Both were shooting at each other?
It's not confirmed at this time. What I can say is confirmed is that a handgun was recovered at the scene and that officers were involved in the shooting. Regarding who fired, what rounds, how many rounds, that's something that the investigation is going to need to take place to find more information about that.
Was this a pedestrian stop or was this a vehicle stop?
This was a pedestrian stop. The officers recognized this particular subject who lives in the area. When they went to contact him knowing that he had a felony warrant, that was when at some point during that contact, suspect ended up producing a handgun and an officer-involved shooting occurred.
Now we see a scene across the street here. Did the incident happen on the sidewalk or inside the complex?
It was in the parking lot outside of 8000 University Avenue.
Did he live at this residence, the apartment?
There's some reports of that, but it's not been confirmed at this point. We do believe the suspect is a 41-year-old white male, but his identity is not 100% confirmed to us. That's something that we work with the medical examiner's office in that regards, taking either fingerprints or doing other means of identification. But it is believed that this subject is 41-year-old white male that was the subject of this felony warrant.
Can you talk about the felony warrant? Can you talk about it? What it was for?
I can tell you that there was an active felony warrant in the system for the subject, and that's why the officers contacted him, but any of the further details I'm not going to release at this point.
And he was known to be armed?
I'm not going to say that he was known to be armed. I was saying during the contact that a handgun ultimately was produced in some fashion or manner, but until we get further in the investigation, I don't have that information.
Did you say he fired the handgun?
I did not say that. What I said is that a handgun was found at the scene, an officer-involved shooting occurred, but the details of who fired and what and how many rounds were fired, that has not been determined. It's just too early in the investigation. We have not processed the scene yet. We're hoping we'll find more information that as the scene's processed and interviews are conducted.
Were these patrol officers from the Mesa that approached him at a patrol officer spot and then notified other people?
It's a good question. These were two patrol officers, so they were uniformed patrol officers in full uniform for La Mesa Police Department, and both, I will say, also were in marked police vehicles.
Did both officers, I know it's early still, did both officers fire their firearms or do we know that this time?
At this point, there appears to be only one shooting officer.